You could be the greatest individual in football.
We are back with another video. Listen, been an emotional day, man. Been an emotional day. Ronaldo, Glazers, World Cup's been good. I can't even lie today. Messi losing, satisfying, but there's a lot to talk about in it. There's a lot to talk about. Where do we start? Actually, before we start, make sure you guys like the video, comment your thoughts, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. And listen, Ronaldo, my GOAT, has finally left the club. I know a lot of people are going to be happy. I'm devastated, but at the same time, as I said when the interview came out, this had to happen, kind of thing, innit? It was just dragging out Ronaldo, Manchester United. Something had to give, and listen, Ronaldo's the one that gave. We'll talk about the Glazers and all the impact on that interview, but listen, correct call by the club. Ronaldo had to go. I'm surprised that they've done it so quick. That's one thing that has surprised me. I thought it would have dragged on for another 2 weeks. I knew it would have been done before the World Cup, but I thought it would have dragged on for another 2 weeks in it. But fair play to United, you can clearly see they weren't happy with the interview. The legal teams were working on it from last week. And bang, Ronaldo is no longer a Manchester United player, which, listen, it hurts, but it's still the correct thing to do. But listen, as I always say, for me, nothing changes with Cristiano Ronaldo. He's still my GOAT. He's still a Manchester United legend for me. Like, 3 Premier League titles, a Golden Boot, a Champions League. Even last season, United were crap, but he gave us every single good moment. The late Champions League winners, the hat-trick against Spurs, the goals against Arsenal. Listen, man, I can never forget what Ronaldo's done in it. Big up JJ, big up Avis. I can never forget what Ronaldo's done for us, innit? This guy finally no more Ronaldo twerking. Listen, it'll be interesting to see where Ronaldo goes in it, because that's one thing. One thing I don't know what Ronaldo does now. Because I was thinking about where does he get a Champions League side? I don't know, innit? The only thing I can see in terms of Champions League side is maybe, obviously now he's available on free. Say he has a good World Cup, which I think he does. I think he gets minimum 4 to 5 goals, hopefully anyway. The only thing I can see happening is a 6-month deal with a Champions League club until the end of the season. Then at the end of the season, then that's where I see him moving to Sporting and stuff, innit? But for now, I don't know what happens with Cristiano Ronaldo if, let's say, the World Cup doesn't go his way in terms of performances for him. Forget Portugal, for Ronaldo as a whole, kind of thing, innit? But as a whole, listen, more clubs should be interested in Ronaldo now. Like, you're available on a free. That's it. There's no excuses, kind of thing, innit? Let's see if I think he does take a wage cut. But listen, man, I hope he does well. I hope he does well, kind of thing, innit? But yeah, I definitely see him going Sporting in a year's time or at the end of the season. But I don't think he goes Sporting straight away right now, innit? Big up Jose. I think that's how you say your name. Big up Mertaza as well. Sporting if he's lucky. PSG on a 1-year deal. I'll be honest, PSG, no chance. I don't see PSG going for him with Kylian Mbappe. If Kylian Mbappe went there, then I think there's a possibility in it. But for me, right now, no chance. Messi losing side. Don't worry, we'll talk about that as well. Glazers. Listen. This in terms of Ronaldo's interview having an impact on the Glazers, I'll be honest, I think it might have had some impact, but I don't necessarily think this is down to Ronaldo. I think the way I look at it, I think they were probably looking to sell or have more investment. And I think after the Liverpool news came out, that was kind of where I was like, why do Liverpool owners want to sell? And now all of a sudden United owners want to sell or take, more investment. That's something that, listen, I think is interesting, kind of thing, innit? Which is why I'm like, I don't think this is all down to the Ronaldo interview. But the news dropping the same day as the Ronaldo interview, or the Ronaldo termination, that's something I'm like, yeah, they did that on purpose, kind of thing, innit? They definitely did that on purpose. But even then, yeah, you see with the Glazers out thing, I'm very, very happy that this is the first time we've heard that they're looking to make a sale. But I'll be honest, I don't think this is a quick process, kind of thing, innit? I think this will take a very, very long time. This will take a very, very long time to do. Because I think Alex Cook from TalkSport said the money the Glazers are looking for is 6 billion or something. It's going to be hard to do. I also saw, I think it might be Alex Cook saying, or Sky Cave saying about the American owner thing. I'll be honest, I don't know about that. Listen, whoever pays the most money is going to get the club. I don't think it matters if it's American, Saudis, That's how the Glazers are going to look at it. Or that's my opinion anyway. Ronaldo interview was there for the final and they won the cup. Yeah, because let's be honest, like, say whatever you want about Cristiano Ronaldo, he's still the most influential footballer in the world. Like, even if you hate Ronaldo, the numbers don't, like 501 million Instagram followers, I think it was yesterday. Crazy. His influence on football. Like, you saw it with the Piers Morgan thing. When Ronaldo speaks, you listen. And that's how it is. You might not like Ronaldo, but everyone was still watching the interview. And that's just the power of Cristiano Ronaldo. But yeah, I think the Glazers probably had this on their mind kind of thing, innit? Maybe not a full sale, but I think therefore a partial, partial sale or more investment into the club. That's what I think is going to be the next step. I don't know if we'll get a full sale straight away, but I definitely think this is in the, the right footsteps kind of thing. Even like with the Liverpool thing. Liverpool announced their owners wanted to sell a couple weeks ago. Nothing's really changed on the front for now kind of thing, innit? In the public eye that we know. And someone says, who cares about his followers or Bains? No, but followers also helps with his influence kind of thing. I'm just saying he's the most followed person in the world. No matter, even if you like him, no matter if you care about Insta, his influence is crazy kind of thing, innit? But I'll be honest, like, for me, when it comes to owners, I think they're all immoral kind of thing, which is why I'm like, listen, if you're giving me an Arab owner, I'm not complaining. I know people are going to complain about the ethics, all of that stuff. I'll be honest, man. I'm a football fan kind of thing, innit? I'm a football fan. Like, Newcastle got Saudi owners, whatever it is. Look at the money. I ain't saying no to that kind of thing, innit? I ain't saying no, which is why I'm like, listen, man, whoever comes in, I'm happy. But I think this will be a long process. But listen, we move. This is a very, very positive step. His followers show how famous he is when someone that famous speaks where he's happened. Yeah. It's just the same with everyone kind of thing, innit? If anyone big speaks, especially on a big topic, even if you don't like them, they still get traction. Whether it's good traction or negative traction, traction's traction kind of thing, innit? Are you happy CR7's gone as a United fan? As a United fan, I'll be honest, it had to happen kind of thing. And as soon as you speak down on the manager, as much as I love Cristiano Ronaldo, he kind of had to end this way. And I said this, like, that interview, even though people might not like what he said, was the best thing that could happen for both parties in terms of, let's not lie, Ten Hag weren't really favouring Ronaldo. And whether people like it or not, no matter what, the eyes are always on Cristiano Ronaldo. Even if we don't play, if Ronaldo don't play, the questions are always about Ronaldo. If Ronaldo plays, the questions are always about Ronaldo. Like, that's just his influence. And I don't blame Ronaldo for it, but that's just how it is kind of thing. And let's be honest, Ronaldo wanted to leave the club. Ronaldo only done the interview because he wanted to leave the club. And I think he was kind of pushing the club to terminate his contract, which is why, like, you've seen him walk out with no payout. I think if you really wanted to, like, if you weren't happy with the termination, he would have asked for a payout kind of thing, innit? Or maybe taking it to court. Ronaldo's not doing that. He's just like, listen, £16.5 million, take it, I'm gone kind of thing. And I just want to leave. I want to go to another club and I just want to play my football for the last 2 years of his career. Glazers were planning to leave for a while now. They knew they wouldn't be able to compete with Newcastle City and Chelsea. Yeah, maybe. But listen, man, United, the Chelsea thing, I'll be honest, still think United can compete with them. Even now, like, we're above them. I just don't trust Todd Bowley just yet kind of thing. But obviously, Todd Bowley's clearly willing to put the money in. Bains, the difference between Liverpool and United is that United need the money really badly. It's time sensitive. Liverpool financially healthy, United will be quicker, we're more attractive. I don't know if United will be quicker because it's still a big sell kind of thing, and it's still a very, very big sell. But listen, like, United for me are definitely more attractive than Liverpool. But maybe that's a bit more bias coming from United fans as well. What top team can actually go to now? I think his career at the highest level is done at this point, unless he wants to go Sporting or something like that. That's what I said. The World Cup, he has to perform. Pressure's on Cristiano Ronaldo. If he performs, as I said, if he gets between 4 to 5 goals in the World Cup, people are going to want Cristiano Ronaldo again, depending on obviously how far Portugal get as well. If it drags on, we could legit get Abramovich. I don't know. I don't think he will. Like, where does he think he's going? No one wants him. United are much more attractive than Liverpool. I just hope we get based from Arab owners. I'm tired of Americans in football. I'll be honest, like, I've always said it with the American thing, yeah. I don't care who owns the club, just make sure you have the right people in charge kind of thing, innit? Like, which is why I'm like, you see with Todd Bowley, I'm onto him, but I'm just like, I want to see what Todd Bowley does. If Todd Bowley employs the correct people and just just gives them the investment, gives them the control, Chelsea will be fine. Just have professionals and good people running the football club. You got to sack my guy. Yeah, of course, Ronaldo got sacked, but listen, he wanted this kind of thing, innit? He wanted it. CR7 to Newcastle Bains. I'll be honest, I hope he don't stay in the Prem. I really don't want to see Ronaldo in the Prem. And listen, like, you're still 37, even though, listen, you got 18 league goals in the Prem last year. I can't bear the sight of seeing him in another Premier League club. Do you think João Felix loan deal is possible in January, Bains? I'll be honest, I don't know, because you see with João Felix, I watched a bit of Portugal's friendly the other day when they won, was it 4-0, 4-1? That's the best I've seen João Felix play in a very, very long time. And I thought the way Portugal set up in that game was quite interesting in terms of, I think Ronaldo was obviously injured for that game. They had Andrew Silva with João Felix up top. I think that's how hopefully they set up in the World Cup with João Felix in the two with Cristiano Ronaldo. And if João Felix plays like how he did that day in terms of his overall game was brilliant, he will have a good World Cup. And if João Felix has a good World Cup, United are not going to be the only team interested in January. They can't be. But the other thing I'll say about João Felix here, for me, I love João Felix, but in this United team, I don't see a place for him unless he's replacing Bruno Fernandes. Because the way I look at it, I think João Felix is a brilliant false nine, and I like him there. But I think to have that, you can't have a Rashford and an Antony as your wing pair. Liverpool had Firmino, but they also had Mo Salah and Sadio Mane putting up elite numbers from out wide. I don't look at Rashford the same, and I don't look at Antony the same. The only way João Felix fits in is the number 10, and let's be honest, United don't need to replace Bruno right now kind of thing, innit? That's the next step after we get 3 or 4 players in. Then you're looking at the people like Bruno. But for now, Bruno's a mainstay in the side. Big up AEB Singh. Do you think Portugal will be a better team with Ronaldo on the bench? No. Like, you see with Portugal, yeah, and I always say this, like, with every single team, it's not down to one player why a team performs good or why a team performs bad. Secondly, with Portugal, the biggest thing I always say about their team here is the mindset from the manager. When Portugal play for a draw like they did against, what was it? Spain, I think it was. When Spain scored late on, they were playing for a draw. Portugal's setup in that game was shocking. But when you saw it the other day in the friendly, when they're trying to go at it, trying to be proactive, it's a completely different Portugal. And I think, listen, the World Cup should be interesting in terms of what Fernando Santos does. I want to see what he does. It better be Felix Ronaldo up top. I think, what was it, Bruno, Bernardo? I think he had William Carvalho starting that day, or this guy, Otavio. And then I think he had, was it Nuno Mendes, Dalot, Anderson Silva, Ruben Diaz, and Costa, I think it was. Or Rui Patricio might have played that game. But overall, that's team setup. Obviously, Cancelo probably comes in. It's very, very nice, isn't it? Ronaldo finished? No. After new owners want a new manager. Or after new owners want a new manager. I'll be honest, I don't think that would be the same for the new owners. First of all, we need to see when the new owners take over. We need to see. Because I don't think it will be anytime soon. I think he'll probably be between, I'm going to guess 12 to 18 months. United finished without him. United need to invest in January as well without Cristiano Ronaldo. Like, I think Cody Gakpo had an all right game the other day. Yesterday, scored a goal as well. I think that will be the signing United make in January. The Glazers will prefer full sale. Ben Jacobs. I'll be honest here, I don't trust this Ben Jacobs guy. I don't really trust him. Yeah, I wasn't starting, but he needs to. I'll be honest, I like Rafa Leao, but listen, I always say, like, these players might be good players, but they still have to prove themselves in the Portuguese setup. And with Rafa Leao, in that Portugal setup that they played the other day, I don't know where Rafa Leao fits in. And listen, Rafa Leao on the bench is still a phenomenal option because he was Serie A MVP last year. Antonio. Yeah, he definitely needs to. But I think they could go with Pepe because of the experience. Yeah, they're not going to sack him straight away. What do you need to see for Ronaldo to be finished in your eyes? I said this here. You see people when they talk about Cristiano Ronaldo being finished. I disagree kind of thing. For me, how can you be finished if you got 24 goals last year? 32 goals in all comps in counting Portugal. And Ronaldo's had a bad 3 to 4 months. And don't get me wrong, as I said, Ronaldo's been my disappointment of the season so far. He has been bad. But you still got pedigree to go off. And I'm not talking pedigree from 3-4 years ago. I'm literally talking last season. Literally 6 months ago, Ronaldo's performing. That April-May period, Ronaldo was performing to a very, very high level. And someone said it's called Statman. No, Ronaldo's overall performances, forget the goals, were very, very good. That was the first time I looked at Ronaldo and I said, you've learned to play that sole number 9 role perfectly. Until he has maybe one bad season, one full season kind of thing, or 12 to 18 months of bad performances, that's when I call Ronaldo finished kind of thing, innit? But I always say, like, people are just way too quick kind of thing to call people finished. Yeah, hype. I still like Rafa Leao, man. He's still good. Am I the only one that thinks Gakpo is similar to Rashford? I honestly would prefer Giroud to Gakpo. I would prefer Kolo Muani from Frankfurt than Cody Gakpo. Like, I'll be honest, I don't love Gakpo, but I don't hate him kind of thing, innit? That's just my opinion. Like, I don't look at him and say, yeah, wow. But I do think maybe in central areas, he does better than Rashford. Because when I look at Cody Gakpo, I still look at his upper body strength and think, yo, your upper body strength is still better than Rashford's, if that makes sense. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Trump as new owners. We'll see. I doubt it'll be any of those for it, though. It's cool stat padding. His performances have been stinky. No, but this is what I said. Like, his performances towards the end of the last season were very, very good. And I say this here. When you look at his performances, United as a whole, we were crap. You can't name me 5 players that perform consistently. You can't even name me one player that performed consistently from game week 1 to game week 38. Or let's just say he had 20 good games. You can't. That's how bad United were last year. You got goals in bunches. But United performed in bunches. United weren't consistent, so you can't expect a player or any player to be consistent throughout if the entire team were inconsistent. Where do you think Ronaldo will end up personally? I'll be honest, the dream will always be Bayern Munich, innit? Ronaldo and Nagelsmann, but that's never going to happen. I think, I don't know, man. I actually don't know. Like, I think it will be Chelsea. Giroud type player like a Halle. I'll be honest. The thing is, yeah, I don't mind these sort of plays, but I just think, like, in terms of bringing other players into it, like you know how the way people talk about Martial, bringing other players into it and stuff. I just think, like, don't get me wrong, Halle scored goals kind of thing, innit? But we need a goal scoring kind of thing. I would prefer Vlahovic personally. I just want to know that I can trust someone to get me 20 league goals. And that's why, for example, I like a Ronaldo. Before this season, he was guaranteed goals kind of thing, innit? And I like a Haaland right now. And Vlahovic right now as well. Man, that's that. At least you got to see a goal in United colours. Yeah. That's one thing I'm very, very happy with kind of thing, innit? Like, I got to see him twice. Once against Watford. That game was 0-0. And against Real Vallecano in pre-season, 1-1. And the Real Vallecano one, I was literally second row in the Stratford end. Like, when Ronaldo was obviously defending corners, like, he was so close to me. Like, that experience, I'll be honest, I can never forget it. I can never forget. And I always say this, yeah, like, when it comes to Ronaldo, like, there's certain players that just make you fall in love with football kind of thing, innit? And no matter what, don't get me wrong, I've always said I'm biased with Ronaldo, innit? But I feel like every person has, like, a player that they can be biased to. If they, like, because I always say football's about emotion kind of thing, innit? Ronaldo, the way he's made me feel when it comes to football is just different. Especially when he's at Real, the 3P, like, it was just inevitable that he was going to score. Like, that feeling is just crazy kind of thing that, you know, even though we're losing 2-0, Ronaldo's going to turn up. He's just a guy, man. Don't get me wrong, the games, we're stinkers kind of thing, innit? But I'll be honest, against Real Vallecano, he weren't too bad. Against Watford, I'll be honest, in the stadium, it looked worse. The highlights, it actually looked like he had glimpses kind of thing, innit? Like, I've seen a couple of Ronaldo comps in it, and that Watford game has been in there. Name the game Statman apart from Arsenal. Ronaldo really had a complete performance. Brentford, from the top of my head, was complete. Norwich was good. Both Arsenal games were good in terms of the one at home as well. Who else? See, this I need to go through the fixtures kind of thing to name it. But that's just the top of my head. Who wins the trophy first, Ronaldo or Eric Ten Hag? I thought about this. I thought about this. I think it could be Ronaldo. But it depends the club Ronaldo goes to. But it wouldn't surprise me if it is Ten Hag. Because I'll be honest, I still think we're going to win the Europa League, even though I do feel like it's very, very difficult. But then you never know. Hopefully Ronaldo wins the World Cup. I'll be honest, Chelsea ain't getting top four, no matter what happens. Chelsea ain't getting top four. Around wants to link up is really decent too, and he's great in averages. Scored like 5 headers this season. Bains, I would take that Antonio Silva. You know what's mad with him as well? I watched him in the UEFA Youth League last year as well for Benfica. Benfica won the UEFA Youth League last year. And he stepped up to first team football. Oh, hey, listen, fair play, man. Fair play. Bains, would you prefer Frankie de Jong, Enzo, or Jude next summer? Oh, it'll still be de Jong, but I prefer Enzo Fernandez type player in terms of volume passes. Kind of. Bellingham, by the way, I hope people saw that Bellingham performance yesterday and understood what I was saying a couple months ago. Like Bellingham, for me, clearly showed he's not a pivot player. Like he's like, you just need to give him license. You have to give Bellingham license to get forward and he will cause problems. Especially this season, he's adding goals to his game, he's adding assists. You give him license, he performs. I don't want to see him restricted in a pivot, helping out defensively so much kind of thing. I don't get me wrong, defensively he helps out in terms of he has the bite, but I don't want that to be his main responsibility. You just need to give the guy freedom on the pitch, and he performs to a very, very good level. And listen, 19, performed at the World Cup, performed in the Champions League this year. I'm really, really liking his development right now. Really, really liking it. Messi and Ronaldo, can we have some knockout goals, please? Yeah, we need that. You went with Said, right? To be honest, Said's at every single game at Old Trafford, isn't it? He's always going to be there. Yeah, that was another game. 6-month Real Madrid contract. I doubt that happens. I don't think Florentino Perez will ever want Ronaldo back. Eric Ten Hag will win in the Carabao. I'll be honest, City is the only reason I ain't confident. I hate facing City. Online, I don't see it being Barca. I hope in it. My main hope is that Varane's back. Even though Martin is going to miss the first leg, Varane, he's still the difference defensively. Through the manager. I wouldn't call him a snake, personally. But everyone knows I'm biased. Bains strike option, Tony, Felix, Gakpo, Osimhen. You know, this is another interesting one, yeah? Like, you see with Victor Osimhen, I think he's the only striker that can make Sancho and Anthony work in it in terms of his directness. But I still think he has a goal for it kind of thing, innit? I will still prefer Osimhen to a Tony, Felix, Gakpo. Even though I think Felix is the best player out of those four. Going off topic, why did Pogba join Juve? It makes no sense. Is he finished? No. I wouldn't call Pogba finished, but with Pogba, I think people need to realize like his biggest problem is injuries. Even at United, his biggest problem was injuries. As much as I love Paul Pogba, yeah, at the end I was like, yo, like he had to leave kind of thing. And I said this, like I don't think he's a better player than, for example, Bruno Fernandes. But at least with Bruno, I know the guy's missed, one game since he joined United. With Pogba, when was the last time we actually got 20, 30 games in the season? League games. His injuries are starting to become a problem. And don't get me wrong, I still do blame United for that. You're looking at the way Oli treated him. What was it against? Was it Rochdale when I think Pogba had a floating bone and he still played it? But listen, man, it was the right time to move on. Joining Juve, I don't rate Juve under Allegri, but they've actually been in good form recently, innit? But obviously in the Champions League, they flopped massively. Jude is an attacking mid in a free-man field, not a pivot player. Yeah, he's definitely not a pivot player. That's when people would say like that Rice, Bellingham pivot. I was just like, no, man. I don't like it. Where you reckon CR7 will end up being Chelsea, personally. Bellingham is probably a 10. Big up Statman. I'll be actually, you know what, just quickly. The reason I wouldn't call him a number 10 is because you know when you watch a Bellingham, this might just be me being very, very harsh because I rate him so highly. Do you not think sometimes that in tight situations, he relies more on his physical attributes in terms of the biting in a tackle, for example, than the actual technical ability kind of thing? Like when I watch Bellingham sometimes I look at him and I just think your touch is so loose at times. And I just look at it and I'm like, you're chasing your touch. Like this just might be me kind of thing, innit? Big up Statman, hope you're good. Big up Manj. That's why I call Bellingham an 8. Like an attack-minded 8, but I wouldn't call him a 10. It's actually the same thing as Paul Pogba, funnily enough. Like with Paul Pogba, when people said he was a 10, and I think he played 10 against Tottenham, that was one of the worst games I think I've seen Pogba play. But when he has the license to make those late runs into the box, that's when you see a completely different Paul Pogba that I like. Yeah, I'll be honest, I love Florentino in Paris. I ain't even going to lie. If he replaces Bruno with Juice, I'm going nuts. Yeah, like that kind of makes more sense. Hey, brother, when you show with rant. We don't do shows no more. Osman hype. I like Osman, man. I like Osman. Respect Bains, you feel for you, brother. I know you love Ronaldo. He's the best though for him and us. Yeah, it was clearly the best time with all parties. It just had to happen. Danny Liverpool to beat City. Yeah, if Liverpool to beat City, then I think we've got a chance in it. But City, I still think we'll win. Hamza, you're an idiot. He's probably the best striker in the market right now. Shows how dead striker market is. Yeah. Oli back. I think, what was it? Yesterday was a year since Oli got sacked. Interesting. Where do you think Jude and Rice will go club-wise? Rice, I think I've always said Chelsea in it, just because we've always seen the Chelsea links in it. Bellingham's an interesting one. Because I was thinking this the other day, like, Liverpool should be in for him. I think City should be interested in him. And I think, listen, İlkay Gündoğan is coming probably to the end of his Man City career, even though, listen, I still think he can perform at a very, very high level kind of thing, innit? But I look at Gündoğan and I think maybe you got 2 years left at City before he moves on, innit? Because he's always been linked with a move out. City should be in for him. I think Bayern probably should be in for him, but I don't know with the money he will cost. But I think one of Bayern's owners said they were interested in Haaland kind of thing, innit? So maybe the money is there, but I don't know. And I think Real Madrid should be after him just because how good Bellingham is. But I think, personally, he ends up at City. Agree with your Bains. I test his hitting. Yeah. Yeah, he's not the techies, he's a powerhouse. Yeah. And I thought I was harsh on Bellingham when I said that kind of thing, innit? But I'm glad people agree in it. We got Realist TV, thoughts on this Spurs United. So, I'll be honest, I'm very, very happy with it. Very, very happy, but I know it will take time, which is why I can't really go overboard right now. But it was the first time we've seen the Glazers say they are looking at full sale. Knowing Ten Hag, who do you think he wants? This is another one. Knowing Ten Hag, who do you think he wants? When people say, what's the Ten Hag striker? Ten Hag's used Dusan Tadic, for example, as a false nine in that Champions League run. But then he's also used a striker like Halle. And they're two different sort of players. That's why when people said Ronaldo went a Ten Hag 9 or Martial was a Ten Hag 9, I've always said this, there is no Ten Hag 9, if that makes sense. Ten Hag has shown that you can adapt. I think for this United team, I'll prefer Ten Hag just to have a bit more of a goal scorer. But maybe he wants someone that can obviously help with possession and stuff as well. I've seen CR7's new watch. Yeah, the United header, listen, man, he can do what he wants, innit? He can do what he wants. I wonder how much that watch is going to cost, though. It's probably going to cost a lot. How many goals do you think Ronaldo scoring in the World Cup? Portugal do get lots of penalties. This is another thing, yeah. You see with the World Cup, the way penalties are given right now, I don't agree with it. But if they keep the same consistency, which they've already shown they haven't, because Maguire should have had a penalty for England, he has to be aiming for 5 to 6. And I think that's a good campaign. Say he gets 6 goals in the World Cup, depending on how far Portugal get. He's going to end his career on, 13 World Cup goals? That's a respectable total. That looks like Chelsea play. Yeah, he's just always had that kind of thing, innit? Rice to Chelsea. Jude will probably be linked with Haaland this year. Yeah. Happy coming to Old Trafford as new ownership signing or love, and I think I deserve it. All right, this is another one quickly. Yeah? You see Mbappe. Mbappe gets way too much hate, you know. I remember when people used to call Mbappe overrated and all that stuff here. You see Mbappe's performance today. Don't get me wrong, he missed that chance. But every single time Mbappe got the ball, it looked like something was going to happen. And that's how he's been at PSG, even over the last 2 years when maybe Neymar hasn't performed, Messi hasn't performed last year. Mbappe was still performing. Whether people like it or not, Mbappe is still that guy. Mbappe hate is so forceful for me. Like, don't get me wrong, in the Euros, for example, he was bad, missing chances and stuff, innit? But overall, Mbappe is still a quality player. And I've always said this, I will still take Mbappe over Haaland. I think Mbappe has more to his game. Do you think we can cope with no January signings for a forward? No. Say if we had a reliable striker that could play 25 games, I'll say yeah, but with Anthony Martial, no. Where you been lazy guy? I'll be honest, uni, like this is the period where I've assignments due, innit? In hella busy with that. Like I've got an assignment due tomorrow and one on Friday. But listen, you know me, I'm still watching the World Cup, you know. Even today, I was there watching Denmark, Tunisia at uni. Favorite now to go last 2 seasons. I go with a volley against Spurs. Volley against Spurs. Oh. See, this is tough, innit? I'll probably go with the Ronaldo long shot against Spurs as well. But even like the header in the Champions League goals against Atalanta, that one did bang differently as well. The goal against that. He's had a lot of good goals, you know. Even the goal against, what was it? Atalanta, the volley. And I think he scored that in the same week, innit? Fair play, you know, fair play. Ronaldo had these moments. I'm not ignoring them, so. The watch retails at $140,000. Fucking hell, man. Yeah, ain't for me. That means Statman won't come on Trafford anyway. Now the goal is gone. Saeed, man, you're a hater. You're a hater. Love Mbappe. Mbappe's world class. Mbappe. Yeah, even that entire France team, by the way. That entire France team is so underrated. Like, I know a lot of people are saying without Benzema, they can't do this, without the midfield. Like, don't get me wrong, I still don't think they win it just because Pogba is the X factor in the midfield, innit? But when you look at that France team, and I'm not saying Giroud's a better player than Benzema, I just think Giroud complements that France team better. Like, I think you get a better Griezmann. I think you get a better Mbappe. Because Mbappe loves those like pivot strikers kind of thing that you can kind of run on, kind of thing, innit? 2018 World Cup, perfect example. He did that. Dembele, listen, Dembele is a beast by itself kind of thing, innit? The way he was taking on play is beautiful to see. And that midfield, a lot of people don't like Rabiot. I can understand it, but Rabiot's actually been good for Juve this year. Tchouaméni on the ball, quality. Defensively, he's getting better. And that's going to be like the next step where I look at, if he does it, you're one of the best holding midfielders. Defensively, Pavard's had a good season for Bayern, innit? But he ain't it kind of thing in it long term. Konate and Upamecano, listen, I don't think, by the way, I think personally that's France's best centre-back partnership. Like, I don't think Saliba gets into that side, even though people can argue Saliba is a better player. Upamecano on the ball is elite. There's not many better centre-backs in the world than him on the ball, innit? And I've been saying that. And you lot have been cooking me. So I hope you lot give me his respect, innit? And Konate, I don't think Konate is better on the ball than, for example, Saliba. But I just think Konate, in terms of his box defending, is much better. And I feel like it was a good centre-back partnership today. I think Lucas Hernandez, I'll be honest, he unlucky with the injury. Theo Hernandez obviously going forward, different gravy kind of thing, innit? Different gravy. But I can understand why he played Lucas Hernandez just for more defensive security. But obviously, I think he's going to miss the entire tournament because Lucas Hernandez, that's the thing I hate about his injury record. Statman, slick glide over my question. What was your question? Oh, that question. Yeah, listen, man. Keep a private matter, innit? Private matter. Must have been a bittersweet day for you. First Messi bottle, then Ronaldo. Listen, Messi, man, we were looking at his country to turn up. You didn't. Dembele, Mbappe on the wings. Yeah, it's crazy. Germany are winning. I swear they're going to cook so much. The whole team has so much credit. This is another thing, by the way. A lot of people don't realize when it comes to international football. And this is when people are criticizing maybe like Southgate, for example, for picking Harry Maguire. The main thing about international football is a lot about continuity kind of thing, innit? Chemistry in the side. You're looking at Saudi Arabia today here. I think 9 of the starting 11 play for the same side in Saudi. That is crazy. And you can kind of see they had their chemistry on the pitch in terms of their aggressiveness, the way they were pressing, keeping the line. They've done it very, very well. If we're looking at Germany right now, if we're looking at the front 6, and I'm not saying this is going to be the front 6, but it could be Muller in the 9, Sane on the left, Gnabry on the right, Musiala in the 10, Goretzka, and Kimmich. Don't get me wrong, I think it'd be Gundogan and Kimmich, innit? But that could be Bayern Munich's Germany's front six. They all play together. Sule last year played for Bayern Munich. Sule's been managed by Hansi Flick before. I think, don't get me wrong, their performances haven't been the best Germany over the last couple of games when they've been together. But you can't downplay it. You cannot downplay Germany. And even, with this front four, they still got the option of a Makoko off the bench. That Fulkberg, don't know how to say his name, that other number 9, who's more of a traditional number 9. So they do have options that can change that team, innit? Which is why, I think people need to be wary of Germany. And I hope they do well. I really want to see Musiala do well. I said it, I want to see Musiala do well and Ronaldo do well. That's my aim coming into this tournament. And we'll see what happens, because I think Germany are playing tomorrow, innit? On the ball, yeah. On the ball, this is when I said, I think was it when I was debating with Ty. Upamecano on the ball is one of the best players in the world at centre back. Even if you look at his ball progression numbers, crazy. People downplay what 36, 37-year-old Ronaldo was able to do. 24 goals in all comps. Was great to see one last array from United shit. That's one thing I've also said, I can get people hating Ronaldo, all of that stuff. But listen, it was worth it for me. It was 100% worth it. Statman, who would you like to take over United? I'm feeling that Mukash and Barney guy. I'll be honest, I don't even know who he is. I have no idea who he is. Oh, take over, in terms of ownership. I'll be honest, don't ask me about rich people, innit? Do not ask me about rich people. I have no idea. I'll be honest, one thing I would say though, I don't want that Jim Radcliffe guy to take over. When I look at what he's done at Nice, I don't think he's handled that Nice project the best way, innit? That's just my opinion. I'm looking at the Nice team, aging squad. What, they signed Kasper Schmeichel this summer. They signed, Ross Barkley. Aaron Ramsey's there. And I think they lost that gory guy this summer as well. I ain't rating what they can do, kind of thing, innit? I ain't rating what he's done with that team. Statman in the mud, his goal is gone. Listen, man, it happens. It happens. Hey, who else am I rating? I'll be honest. Other than, I liked today's games and I liked the Wales game here. I haven't really been impressed with the quality of the World Cup. Qatar's game against Ecuador, both of them were dead. England, funnily enough, I know a lot of people are going to say it's Iran and all of that stuff here, but England have looked like the most convincing side. Even their build-up play in possession looked good. It looked very, very good. Which is, listen, credit to Gareth Southgate and credit to England. You know, one thing I said about England as well, going into I was looking at the starting 11 and I was just thinking here, in terms of technical qualities in that England team, is that the best you lot have ever seen it for some time? Because I was just looking at that team. John Stones, for me, he could play for Barcelona. I think he's that good. Trippier, Luke Shaw, technically gifted. You got Declan Rice. I still think he's good on the ball, and a lot of people disagree. You got Harry Kane in there. Even Sterling can play in a heavy possession-based side. That England team is very, very technically gifted for how you normally associate English football, kind of thing, isn't it? Even Mason Mount, I'll be honest, Mason Mount did all right in that left centre mid role. Saudi game was the best so far. Yeah. It was definitely the best game so far. I'll be honest, I like the Wales game as well, though. Gareth Bale, anyhow he scored that little long shot at the end before he got tackled. Oh my God, that would have been crazy. I've enjoyed the vibes, but the refereeing has been inconsistent in Shari. It's annoying, but at the same time, listen, I'm used to it watching the Premier League. One thing I would say, I do like the offside thing. The offside thing is fully automated now. It don't take a long delay. It's good, isn't it? It's good. And I think they will implement that in the top 5 leagues. Because then that takes away that time kind of thing, which is annoying, isn't it? In terms of making a decision. Iran won 1-0 against a team that everyone's overhyping Uruguay. They're not that bad. Yeah, that's what I said. Iran, you still have to give them a lot of credit. Even in the 2018 World Cup, when they had Portugal and Spain in the group, I think they drew against Portugal, was it? And they lost 1-0 against Spain. And I think it was 1-1 against Portugal. I might be wrong here. But all I know, the games are very, very tight. And they're Carlos Queiroz as his manager, who defensively, we know what you can do with teams. which is why like, I think England deserve credit. As much as I hate watching England in terms of I don't like England doing well, I think they've looked like the best side so far. But listen, it's been, what, 3-4 days? Leroy Sané is going to do big things this tournament. Everyone rushed him when he left City. 100%. And I think Leroy Sané this season has been probably top 3. It's tough, innit? Because Bayern centre-backs have been good. But I'll probably still say top 3 Bayern players this season. Leroy Sané last season, the way he started the first 6 months before January was phenomenal. I think he might have won 3 of the first 5 player of the months. He had a very, very good start last season. But obviously, the second half, he kind of tailed off. I think the referees have not been bad, I can't lie. I think there's been a couple of decisions, like even like the Ecuador-Qatar thing, the offside. Everyone at the time looked at it and think, oh, thought rigged, all of that stuff. But it was actually the correct call. That's one thing I said. Yeah, I don't think commentators and punditry are giving enough credit for it being the correct call. Another thing I hate, yeah, just quickly, like, you know, all the politics stuff when it comes to the World Cup, it's so annoying. Like, it's generally becoming so annoying. Like, I can hear you don't want to talk about the political side, human rights, all of that element, but it has to get to a point where you lot are just overdoing it. Like that's just my opinion. Like, I just looked at them and I thought, like, you lot are in Qatar getting paid, and now you want to talk about the political side. If you don't care that much, surely you don't go. And secondly, like, the FIFA president said it the other day, like, talk on it, but make sure your country and the way you lot are run is fine. And I think what the FIFA president said, like, look at the West in terms of human rights, all of that element, racism, just everything. You cannot comment either. That's why, like, for me, just let the football do the talking kind of thing, innit? Like, I'll be honest, I don't want history lessons. We've had enough time to complain about Qatar, all of that stuff, why the World Cup's there, all of that. But now you're in their country, even if you don't agree with the rules, whatever, just abide them kind of thing, innit? Like, I've seen people trying to bring, like, the rainbow colors and all of that stuff into the stadium. You know the answer is going to be no, so why do it? Like, why do it kind of thing, innit? And even, like, for example, England, the armband thing. Okay, you want to make a stance here, but then all of a sudden now, they would have got handed the yellow card. You're getting scared now. Like, it literally would have been more powerful if Harry Kane got a yellow card for wearing the armband. But now all of a sudden, you got a punishment in terms of football, and it was only a yellow card. You're scared now to do it. So that just shows me, like, they don't really care about this stuff. It's just a lot of empty gestures. And that's the way I've always said that I think this stuff looks like. But yeah, like, it's getting so annoying. It is getting so annoying. Like, every little opportunity they get, they're just talking about it. You don't have to do that in every single thing. Like, we've known, for example, the World Cup is going to be in Qatar, what, for over 10 years. We know it's going to be in winter for, what, the last 6 years. We know this stuff. Just let the football do the talking now. Who do you think is going to be the World Cup breakout star? That's a tough one. I'll be honest, the Ecuador right back I quite liked, didn't it? But I think he plays for Genk, and I don't think he's had the best of seasons. But he looked one of the bright performances so far. World Cup breakout star. I don't know, you know. You don't give me some names. Denmark game refereeing being decent as well. That game surprised me. I was surprised how good Tunisia were. Tunisia very, like, surprised me in a positive way. Especially like the first 45, I thought, fair play. They tried playing ball. I did not expect that. Same thing with Saudi Arabia. Like, I think Saudi Arabia deserve full credit. They tried playing ball against Argentina. I was surprised how they approached the game. But listen, I haven't really watched Saudi Arabia before. I haven't really watched Tunisia before. So it's good kind of thing, isn't it? Someone said, so you can't criticize the treatment of migrant workers unless your country, which you have no control over, is perfect. Nah, I'm not saying that. I said, listen, you can criticize them, but listen, like, we've known all this stuff kind of thing, innit? You don't have to mention it at every single opportunity that you're kind of getting right now. Like, the way I look at it, they're trying to make Qatar, I'm not saying Qatar is a perfect country, but they're trying to make Qatar the worst possible thing in the world. And I don't think, like, in terms of, like, I don't mind, for example, to talk about the negatives, but also talk about the positives. Because I've seen, for example, Flex. Flex is in Qatar right now, yeah. He's having a good time. He's getting along with the Qatari people. I saw something on Talksport yesterday where a couple English people got invited into like the palace, like South Qatari palace or something. Like, make sure it's balanced kind of thing, the way you present stuff. I don't want one-sided stuff. Just give me like a balanced approach to your thoughts of Qatar, if you are going to do that. Malo Gusto must be a right back, contract expires in 2024. I hope in it, but I think it will be Frimple. This Olsen guy, I think he plays for Club Brugge. I got him in my FPL team. I don't know if you saw Hannibal at the stinker. I swear youth is clapped and so is the Glazers fault. He's also the Glazer. Nah, I'll be honest, I like Hannibal, innit? I like Hannibal. Not today. I'm just saying I like him as a whole kind of thing, innit? And listen, like, you need to know he's still young, making a step up to men's team football. I don't think Hannibal's, for example, the, what do you call it? Like a Pedri, Gabby, that sort of level. But I still think he can make it in the Premier League. Maybe not at Manchester United. Yeah, the approaches to games have been very, very good. Do you still do videos with rants? No. They literally are slave labor, mate. Imagine how they feel. They won in the World Cup. No one forced them to have it. Yeah, I know. No one forced them to have it. But then we know the World Cup is going to be in Qatar. Why are you trying to enforce your rules? For example, like the Western world's rules on Qatar now. Because if you were going to try to do that, don't get Qatar the World Cup. But you get Qatar the World Cup because of dodgy finances, all of that stuff kind of thing, innit? But you lot had made that decision yourself. Qatar is a safe haven for tourists. I don't know much about Qatar as a country, innit? So I can't really comment. But from what I've seen of like videos in terms of YouTubers and stuff, like Flex, like DR Sports are there. I know a couple people there. It seems like everyone's having a good time, innit? Which is why, listen, like, from what I see, everyone's having fun. From the people I know, kind of thing, innit? Hannibal hype. He's young. Yeah, like Hannibal's still young. Like, you're in the World Cup at 19. That's one thing I don't think people realize here when it comes to these young players and how impressive it is when a young player performs. These look like Bellingham's 19. Bellingham's the same age as me. I could never play in front of 70,000 people. That is an incredible feat, especially when you know the entire country is watching. Like yesterday, I was on the train kind of thing, innit? And I saw how, like, there was a school trip kind of thing, innit? When I was trying to go home from uni. And like there were school kids talking about England, saying, "Oh, miss, can we watch the game when we get to school?" And they're probably in year 1, year 2. I don't even rate the World Cup like that, but I know the impact the World Cup has kind of thing, innit? And knowing everyone is going to be watching must be a crazy feat. Because Bellingham, last World Cup was 14. As a 14-year-old, everyone's watching the World Cup and now you're playing in it. You're going to feel the pressure and you're thriving. Which is why, listen, like, I have full respect for these young players. Iqbal is not much better from what I see. I still think Iqbal is more technically gifted kind of thing, innit? Bains, big up, you still hit the likes, people. Yeah, make sure you guys hit the like button. I'll be honest, I need to do more of these videos alone, you know. I actually don't mind talking to people by myself. Bains society's happening. These people always highlight what they think is wrong, but never the positive. Yeah, like, just give me a balanced approach. Why doesn't he make? Long story, man, long story. He should have never complained about it earlier on. Yeah, if they were going to complain. Gave 3 goodie bags and perfume to everyone in the stadium. Swear down. I'll be honest, I didn't even know that. Fair play. It's not like Qatar going to change their ways of getting annoying at this point. They have talked about it enough, yeah. And I'll be honest, like, talk about, like, if England, for example, got a yellow card, I would have respected Harry Kane so much more kind of thing, innit? But as soon as they pulled out of that, I was just like, it's an empty gesture. Even like, I think, what was it? Gary Neville said something like, let Gareth Southgate wear it. Because even if Gareth Southgate wore it on the touchline, that was still a big statement. I saw Alex Scott done it. Fair play to Alex Scott, but then she's also been seen with the Russian president. But then they don't want to talk about the political side of, for example, Russia. Like, this is what I say. I just think people pick and choose when they want to talk about morals, when they don't. Which is why, like, I say all the time, I just try to stay out of it. I'm just trying to watch football. What are you studying at uni? I am studying economics. Nearly Christmas as well, you know. Big up Andrew. United's Academy as well. What you got? No, you see with Dangle, by the way, Dangle's actually very, very good. It is very, very good. like in terms of like technical ability, what you can do on the ball. Like, don't get me wrong, the tackle and martial, it happens. Like, I don't think those sort of things should be reported. I think like players having arguments in training, it happens. But trust me, Dangle is very good. Even for example, in the FA Youth Cup final last year, nice, very very nice. Like he coped under pressure. Was it 60,000 people there? Very well. And I say this all the time. Like I watch a lot of the youth in it, which is why I'm very very happy when they make a step up. And even this year, Dangle apparently didn't like, what do you call it? How do I word this? Didn't get scared when Marshall kind of confronted him. That attitude, fair play. Like you fully confronted what or came head to head with Marshall, senior player. You weren't scared. I like that sort of attitude in a good way. You've been as good as 19. I know Mbappe done mine as well, but Jude is different. I can't lie, what Mbappe done at the World Cup, I can never forget. Mbappe was in 19. The goal that he scored against Argentina, for example, his overall performance. Maybe this is like a bit of nostalgia bias kicking in now, but Mbappe was different. He was different. And you see with Mbappe now, like, we've seen Monaco, he's performed that. We've seen him perform at PSG under various different managers consistently. And for France, he's incredible. How the people piping up about Qatar can do? I don't think they will. Just lol, it's getting annoying for you to hear about the terrible treatment. No. I'm not getting annoyed about the terrible treatment of workers. As I said, talk about it, but then make sure you also speak about the good of Qatar. Which there is a lot of good. And I'm not saying Qatar perfect or UK, for example, perfect. Just make sure you keep a balanced approach, especially when you're looking at news. Like if it's, for example, like a person talking about it, like an individual person on a platform, different story. But when you look at, for example, the BBC, I look at the BBC, and this might be my interpretation of the BBC, might be wrong. You can, like, if people ask to give their opinion, give their opinion. But BBC, you have to be fair. Like you lot are like the main UK news outlet, in my eyes. Bains, did you hear what Piers Morgan said? I'll be honest, I didn't hear what Piers Morgan said on this. Freaks of hypocrisy. Only youth players that have stocks in Scobie. I like a lot of them, man. I like Isaac Hansen, for example, scored 2 goals the other day for Norway's under 19s. Scored a nice free kick as well. There's Dan Grohl. Guys, I've been hearing. How old is he? I think he's probably 18. I think Kobe Mane is a true proper culture footballer. Your thoughts on Saka this tournament? Saka was probably my top 3 best England players the other day. Every single time Saka got the ball, you thought something could happen. And that's what I say, like directness in wingers is just so good to have, kind of thing, isn't it? Especially like the first 30, 35 minutes when England were kind of trying to break them down. Saka was the player I looked at and I thought, something's going to happen because of you. And Trippier put in a couple of decent balls as well, but Saka was the guy. Dangle fingers a non-story, but Marshall looks quite hench. Yeah. Can't afford Marshall. Yeah, I don't think like his attention was to get Marshall injured, kind of thing. I just thought, listen, like in football sometimes it happens. There's no hypocrisy. Have you ever considered you can criticize the West for doing things as well in Qatar? I'm not talking about the BBC. I'm talking about real and valid arguments against the regime. Yeah, like don't get me wrong. Criticize the West, innit? Criticize Qatar. Just make sure people have the same image. And I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying that the way I look at the BBC or other people talking about this situation, I don't think people have the same energy. People who died building stadiums in Brazil 2014, several human rights issue in Russia, but they weren't 1% of the coverage. I'll be honest, I don't know much about Russia and like Brazil when it comes to building stadiums. But if this is true, this is what I mean, kind of thing, innit? The problem in arguments these days is that people prefer to be right and know the actual truth, though. Ronaldo World Cup, hopefully. I doubt it happens, though. What was the thing about them cutting out the Saudi anthem as well? Getting weird now. I'll be honest, that I looked at and I thought that was an actual error in it. Because I think they said there was a broadcasting issue globally. Because I think the way like these games get broadcasted, one company, I guess, broadcast the entire thing, and then get sent out to, let's just say Sky, BT, BBC, ITV kind of thing, innit? So I think they said it was like a global issue with that bit. We're thinking Chelsea bringing Gavadio, Declan Rice, and including for the summer. Hey. I like it. I like it. But as I said, you see, when it comes to Chelsea, yeah, I don't. When I look at Chelsea, and I think I like certain plays that Chelsea have, but it's all about balance in football, kind of thing, isn't it? Like the way I talked about Giroud and Benzema for that front side. I don't. I think Chelsea are lacking that balance right now, and I think Potter's struggling to find it, which I can understand because when you look at Chelsea's investment over the last couple of years, crazy in terms of so many different players with so many different styles. I hope with this, for example, Declan Rice, I've always looked at, and I think maybe he's a club signing. Let's see what Potter says in terms of these signings and what like the director of football, whoever they got from Leipzig, for example, say. If they all agree and Potter agrees, then I think, you know what? Nice. But when you're talking about all these three players individually, I like it. I like Declan Rice, for example. I even said it last year. I think Declan Rice is criminally underrated. I don't think people in this country, actually, let me not say this country, people in social media talk about Declan Rice enough. He is very, very good for what his role is, for example, isn't it? Do you think England can beat this France team? No. You see with England as well, yeah, when it comes to Southgate, I still want to see how Southgate sets up in the bigger games. Like when people are surprised he went from a back four for the first couple of games, I'm not surprised because I think he done the same in the Euros, isn't it? Is when it gets to the tougher games, do you then revert back to the back five? Or do you stick with his back four, which is so far worked? But it's only been one game. Yo, Statman, if we get new owners, would you prefer to renovate Old Trafford or move to a new proper stadium? Renovate Old Trafford. I don't think there's any need to move to another like area for a stadium kind of thing, innit? Like there's loads of space, for example, around Old Trafford. You can literally make it bigger from there. Let's not eat them because we can eat, someone else doesn't. Bains and Mount, we've got work early. Take care, my fellow Punjabi brother. Big up, hey. Hope you have a good day at work tomorrow. Fairs. You doubt it, let's go Ronaldo. No, don't get me wrong. I want Ronaldo to win the World Cup, innit? But I'm just saying I don't rate Portugal as a whole. But I hope I'm wrong in it. I hope I'm wrong. Why can't Southgate start our best technical, most gifted player playing Foden? The team should be built around him. See this year, and I hear this in terms of the team should be built around Foden. But when I look at Phil Foden here, I still think Phil Foden at this current stage in his career is better out wide, isn't it? And then when I look at him, for example, let's say on the left, Sterling's impact on what he's done for England, you can't beat it. Saka, I would still prefer Saka on the right than a Phil Foden. Now, let's not act like, for example, Phil Foden last year was played on the right. Saka came in and Saka done better. But I'm not saying I hate Phil Foden, by the way. I just don't think the team... I think this England team, I don't think Phil Foden should start for now. At this stage in his career and his development. Chelsea need 2 midfielders. Enzo and Rice will be perfect. Yeah, that'd be nice. Declan will be very good signing, but this Nkunku, I'm not impressed here. I like Nkunku. I think he'll do fine in the Prem. Audio quality, kind of front six of Rice, Mount, Kovacic, and Nkunku, new striker, Sterling working the correct time. Yeah, I think that could. You got Declan Rice as a sitter, Kovacic, good ball progressor, and can come deep and collect the ball. Mason Mount, he's decent. I think Mason Mount's a good 8, by the way. I'm not saying he's a brilliant 10, but I think he's a good 8. I like him in certain situations. Sterling alike, new striker depends, in it. You could big McTominay, you could Bains, your goal is gone. I'll be honest, I'm sad, but as I said, it has to happen. It has to. But I'll be good. New stadium. Statman, where do you think Ronaldo's going to end up going? Chelsea. Bains 1. I think Chelsea needs that every big team has had. He's got a DM. Bringing Declan allows us to play more aggressive. No room but left open as you can slot in the centre back. Like, yeah, that is also true, innit? That is also true. But as I said, I still like Jorginho, by the way. Messi fans crying today. The game's the game, innit? Hey, Bains, what's up? Hope you're good. Rajat. You like... Wait, explain that again. Can't I want a stadium like Spurs want? OT got a history and all that, but I wouldn't mind a new stadium. I'll be honest, like, I wouldn't mind like, if they just expanded on that same ground kind of thing, innit? Because I always say I can understand why people don't want to move areas for stadiums because of the history. For example, I still think in one of the world wars, like one of the tunnels were like the stadium was bombed kind of thing in it. And there's a part of the stadium, I think one of the tunnels that's still left from the World War. Like that sort of history, I kind of like. If Phil Foden falls down as a super sub. Problem is Harry Kane, in it. Like you can't drop Harry Kane. You're from Manchester, nah. I'm good, bro. I'll shout you in the DM after I need to catch up. I can't calm Zeeks. Statman, your vids make my day. I can't like these sort of messages. I love them. Big up Hamza. Hope you're good. If we don't get Frankie De Jong, Declan Rice will be decent. I think then we got Casemiro though, innit? We got Casemiro. So nah. I'll prefer like for example it depends, innit? The next midfielder for me, like the ball carrier, De Jong, or maybe like a volume passer, like a Enzo Fernandez, for example. That's what I think the next step has to be. I don't think Declan Rice is the correct step. If we didn't have Casemiro, I would have said, yeah, 100%. Yeah, but I think, I'll be honest, like, Potter's not going to say anything to Ronaldo. Potter will play him. I don't think Potter has enough pedigree to do anything different currently at this stage. Never mind Rashford at 10. You don't deserve to be like Wazza. Nah. Rashford's not a 10. I'll be honest, I think Sterling in behind Harry Kane, for example, is not a bad shot either. That's the only one thing I like. Okay, by the way, you see Rashford. Rashford came on the right-hand side and scored. You know how annoying that was for me? Because I'll be honest, I hate Rashford on the right, innit? But the way he took that goal for England the other day, on the right, came inside on his left and slotted it in. Fair play, fair play. I was very, very impressed with that finish. I think it benefits Bruno, but I don't think it fully benefits the side, having Rice and Casemiro together. Jorginho's a hero for Chelsea, but he's aging and his style of play belongs in Italy. Rice should be the first. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think Jorginho, does his contract not finish this summer? I think he will leave no matter what kind of thing, innit? Or I hope for his career he leaves. I don't think Jorginho's appreciated in this country as well, though. Like I always say, like volume passes in this country don't get appreciated. Like I remember when Rio Ferdinand said the thing about 2,000 passes, no assists, all of that stuff, whatever it was. I don't like it. Thought on the Iran fans not singing the national anthem is a disgrace. I'll be honest, I don't know much about why they haven't done it because I haven't really studied it, but I think it was to do with human rights kind of thing, innit? I might be wrong here. But when I look at that, I think that's a powerful statement. I do look at that as a powerful statement kind of thing, innit? You won't come and get me that point in January. Who do you think? Betting on War 2. City. I think go City. NSA Kakarate needed, yeah. Yeah, ask me any questions about the World Cup. Like, I need to wrap up soon as well, kind of thing, innit? Wrong tax. You say that. Look at Argentina though against Saudi Arabia. They should be beating them. You still have to give England credit, kind of thing, innit? Yeah, why we play him at 9? Bruno in the long term is not suited for this side. I disagree in it. I'll be honest, I think Bruno's been doing very, very well recently for United. We need Nunes. Yeah, from Wolves, yeah. That's a very good shot, actually. That's a very, very good shot. Rashford downloading headers and left foot packaging. Yeah, exactly, man. You can't hate. He's improving. Big up Benny McCarthy as well. We're Arsenal top of the league. Yeah, I'll be honest. Pep signed a new contract. I was low-key hating on it. You know, I was hoping Pep would run from the grind. But listen, man. You're at Man City. I always thought Pep after Man City, after, for example, this season, maybe next season, we'll just go international football. Because if I'm looking at Pep here, what else do you want to do when it comes to club football? Like, you've literally done everything. Maybe one more Champions League, which I think he might get with City this year. But you've done everything. Just go international football, win a trophy or two, and then that's it. Like, if he wins a trophy in international football, for me, he's the GOAT manager. I don't think people would debate that. Bains, I'm very worried you're forgetting you on this Saturday now that all this. Yeah, but that's not really short term for now, is it? Like, I don't think we'll get a new owner straight away. Don't mind Rashford on the right. He's forced to look up and make better decisions because he can't cut in and run into 4 players. But the problem is, yeah, like the best of Rashford that we see, and this might be a negative, this might be a positive, however way you want to look at it, is him running down, driving with the ball kind of thing, innit? On the left-hand side, cutting inside, and just being that inside left forward. That's the best I see of Rashford. Which is why I hate him on the right-hand side. And another thing with Rashford here, if you're on the right-hand side, you're a right footer, have like threats in terms of like your crossing. When I look at Rashford's crossing, he knuckleballs crosses kind of thing, innit? That annoys me to death. Otto Nunes, people that were bullying him in the beginning and getting humble. I said it, man. Like, Nunes is a good player. Like, whatever people think about him, he will score goals. He's a havoc. He's a chance magnet. I think he will have a good World Cup. I think he's gonna have a good World Cup. They keep bottling. Do you say also why with Pep being staying at City? Listen, man, like, Pep probably has the best environment to win a trophy. Unless you're going to Real Madrid, there's no other club that you're going to win the Champions League at other than City. He has to win it at City. He signed that contract that way, man. I'll be honest, that's how I was feeling, because Pep's just the guy for me, innit? Pep's just the guy. Too good to go internationally early. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I still think he's too good at him. I'm just like, you done it all. But listen, like I always say, like, these elite managers, players, their motivation to continue going year after year is incredible, isn't it? Bains, Ronaldo, regardless of what Ronaldo spoke on Sensei, he spoke facts and did actually have a family incident yet. Yeah, I said it at the time, like, when it comes to family, just give the player a benefit of the doubt, or the manager a benefit of the doubt. Like, there's no point in trying to, like, make your own allegations, your theories. That sort of stuff, for me, is just hella insensitive. And don't get me wrong, I still thought what he said about Ten Hag was wrong, but the rest of the interview, I don't think it was that bad. Like, people are getting at Pierce or like showing the best bits. Like, Pierce done it, and he got everyone to watch. You can't really hate on Piers Morgan for doing that kind of thing, innit? Like, he knew what he was doing. Like, those 2 days of the Wednesday, Thursday, everyone was tuned in at 8 o'clock to watch the interview. Do you think we'll get new owners after reading that statement? I'm not sure, though. I don't think we'll get new owners straight away. I think it'll be like a bit of a long-term thing. But listen, they're looking to sell, which is a positive. Pep would have done 9 years by the time in DC terrorism. He needs to leave 9. But the thing is, with Pep, like, you can't really sack him, though. Because, don't get me wrong, he still hasn't delivered the big thing in terms of Champions League. But you've done everything else. You won domestically. You've done everything. City fans still love you. He still creates that good environment. And I said, like, what better manager are you getting than Pep? You can't beat the old block. But who are we talking about here? Rashford or Nunes? This club better have a... We will, innit? We will. I think it'll probably be like new stuff with the Premier League, the way they've done it. So where do you prefer Sancho? I'll be honest, I still prefer Sancho off the left, innit? But as I said, like, Sancho, like, the way we talk about Rashford, for example, Rashford, I'm like, I want to see on the left. Sancho, I don't mind him on the right. Because I still know Sancho has more ability and more variety in his game. He's a good goal scorer and not a good player. Nunes, yeah, but listen, like, you still have to be effective. And Nunes, when I look at him, I still look at him and I think, yeah, you're effective. Do you think England won't have massive issues against USA? Because I see it. USA actually look nice. And I think I said it, like, I actually do like USA squad. Like, even, for example, on the bench, I had like Brendan Harrison from Leeds. And he's having a decent season. Overall, I think England could struggle, but listen, man, they will still win. Like, even saw it against Wales, like, Kiefer Moore came on, changed the game. Wales probably just had the better second half. We start between Nunes, Suarez, and Cavani. Nunes. He's there for the best player at the three right now. As long as it gets those Glazer that we benefit. Statman, who's your World Cup favourites? I'll be honest. You know what's funny? I said this the other day. Like, when a team gets hyped up so much, when you look at Brazil and Argentina, I always think they're not going to win it. And I don't think a team going into a World Cup as number one favourites have ever won it. So, I don't know, man. I like Germany. I've always said I like Germany. Even though I don't rate them defensively and I still think you could argue they're missing a striker, chemistry in football is massive for me, especially when it comes to international football. Hansi Flick is still top 2 international managers. I don't know why I got Germany. And I said with Argentina, I think Lo Celso was a massive loss. Like, people might not like Lo Celso, but what he brings to the Argentinian midfield, different. None of these players are one you still have in mind. CE became bigger than us when Pep went there instead of us. It was worse. The thing is, they're not a bigger club than us, but they're, for me, the club that everyone wants to be. That's the way I look at City right now. Pep needs to go Saudi or nah. Prob Sancho is a 10. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Sancho as a 10, but then I worry about him not defensively, but in terms of, let's just say, can you keep up playing centrally for 90 minutes? No, because I think Sancho gasses out very, very quickly. Hope we don't end up with Buki and Jan. No chance. Bains, do you think Sancho could do in a Iwobi and play midfield? My only doubt is work off them. Yeah, this is basically it. But I've said this here, like, Sancho, the number 8 thing, I said last year. I still do think Sancho in central areas will be better in the Premier League. France 2018. But what about France 2018? My mind's going. I forgot what I said. Portugal the best squad, but people won't. But the same pressure on Ronaldo. I don't think the same pressure on Ronaldo just because of the manager, Fernando Santos. If they're the best, say they're Jose, then I would say pressure on Ronaldo. Ronaldo has to deliver. But I don't look at Portugal and think, yeah, you're going to win it. Bruno United, Pep can go. Pep can go anywhere, man, at this point. I think France will win it again. They have that know how Brazil plays with choke and let Neymar down again. Argentina could win, but Lionel Messi on the big stage dies. You see, this is interesting, isn't it? Like, the reason I don't have France is because of that World Cup curse. But in terms of like starting 11, as I said, like, people underrated the starting 11 going into this tournament. But I still do feel like Pogba is a massive miss for that France team. But this is the first time, for example, hopefully that Lucas Hernandez injury ain't too serious. But they have another completely different dimension with Theo. Like the Theo Hernandez ball for, was it Rabiot? I think it might be Rabiot. France's first goal was a peach of a ball. And his combination play with Mbappe was nice. You only got Germany because of... No. It's not because of an argument. I genuinely do think Germany have a very good side. Like, Hansi Flick, for me, him, Luis Enrique, 2 best managers. Good rest of the stream. Bains having algebra test tomorrow, so go get some sleep. Hey, good luck to you, man. I still need to do my coursework. Oh, they were favourites to win. Portugal should be favourites as we don't have no fullbacks. Fernando Santos tax, isn't it? Fernando Santos tax. Don't have the best goal. Portugal, Ronaldo. It's an ACL. Yeah, see, that's kind of peaking it. That's kind of peak if it's an ACL. I've always said it. I love Lucas Hernandez. I think he's top 10 centre-backs in the world, isn't it? But the only thing I hate about him is his injury record. Because he has the on-the-ball capability, defensive positioning. Like his game, for example. Remember when they played PSG a couple of years ago? And Neymar had a peach of a game. But Hernandez also had a peach of a game. Like I genuinely do think he's top class. Or Benzema though. I said I think France work better without Benzema. That's just my personal opinion. Even though I think Benzema is a better player than Giroud, just the overall combination play that comes from Giroud, what he does to him, Mbappe, Griezmann, for example, who I thought had a very, very good game, was brilliant. Griezmann, by the way, deserves credit as well. Griezmann's actually, like, say whatever you want here with Griezmann. Griezmann for France is a different story. Like, he's very, very good. And I can understand why Deschamps has loyalty towards Griezmann. I said, like, if I'm an international manager, there's certain players I would genuinely have loyalty to if you never let me down. And Griezmann hasn't been shocking this year. You're an Nagelsmann fan? Yeah, I've always said I like Nagelsmann. The one for Giroud's overhead kick. I doubt it was Giroud's overhead kick. And he had that winning as well. To be fair, work rate something Sancho can work on. I don't know if Ten Hag is going to be patient with him, though. I hope he is. I think he will be in it. But hopefully, like, obviously, this is what I said as well with Sancho, by the way. I told you weren't no illness. Like, Ten Hag death row allowed him to have time off in it, which clearly is a positive. Lucas Hernandez is Bayern's best centre back, in my opinion. 100% he is. He 100% is. Who's better, Lucas or Theo? Lucas is more of a traditional centre back, isn't it? Theo's a left back. So I always find it hard to compare. We need someone like Upamecano and Hernandez. On the ball capabilities, we need someone like them. Whoa, like we just do kind of thing, innit? But listen, we have Martinez. I was thinking, who's better on the ball, Martinez or Upamecano? Like I was struggling to choose. What do you call it? Struggling to choose who's better on the ball, because I think Upamecano is elite on the ball. Bains has that same impact. He improved in Bepe's short game a lot. So also Vinny. Yeah, I hate that, but I don't know, man. Giroud for that France team. I think he's on 51 goals now. Different. Why is that Tottenham took an L not getting Nagelsmann? Listen, it was a correct call. Like I've always said, Nagelsmann's still a young coach, showing his versatility, offensively. Like Bains, for example, offensive setup even last year is very, very good, isn't it? And now you've got more of a traditional Nagelsmann setup without that traditional 9 in Lewandowski. The goals are a bit more spread out. They're scoring goals for fun. Defensively, as I said, I think Nagelsmann's been getting, like, his defensive record has been getting better over the last couple of years. Or setup. Even though I still feel like his in-game management at times needs to improve. That's, in my opinion, Nagelsmann's biggest weakness, in-game management. He's not being washed that close. He's been playing consistently for Atletico because of a done. Yeah, that's what it was. Both got the qualities. Martinez. Upamecano is less composed on the ball compared to Martinez. Yeah, maybe this. I do hear this. But then I look at Upamecano, for example, line-breaking passes, and I think they're also second to none. I can see Martinez comfortably playing in midfield. I can see Upamecano playing in midfield as well. Well, let me try to bring up Upamecano's numbers on FB Ref. It's 11:34 and we're talking about Upamecano. Oh my days. Share my screen. Look at his numbers on the ball when it comes to passing. His numbers on the ball, passing-wise, elite. Those are elite numbers kind of thing, isn't it? Let me zoom in a bit. He's literally in the top 1% of everything. Well, for a lot of the passing numbers kind of thing, innit? Which is why I said, like, people need to give him less slack. Like, I saw, who was it tweeting? You know the guy on Sharky's podcast, Libanan, I think he is? Libanan? I think that's how you pronounce his name, innit? He said something like that, he don't rate Upamecano. And I said, like, I can hear people not rating him, but if you've watched him this season, this is it. Like, he's hit different levels. And I've always said is he was always good on the ball and he always had the physical attributes kind of thing in it. Has, for example, the speed as well. His defensive positioning at times and reading on the game had to improve. This season, and I've watched a lot of Bains, it has improved, which is why I'm like, you know what? Fair play. Fair play. Konate's distribution is horrible. He needs to improve on that, though. He was a bit off today. Yeah, that's the only thing with Konate, is his distribution. But when you talk about Konate's defensive ability, I think Konate defensively, box defending, for example, is more talented than when I look at a William Saliba. But on the ball, he does need to improve. He's clumsy on the ball. Statman, don't be fooled. Nah, trust me. He was on fraud watch for me last year. But this year, I think he's improved massively. Yeah, Liban. Yeah, him. I big up Sharky's podcast. I saw Elias and Locked In. That was sick, you know. That was very, very good. Big up Locked In. Foot Asylum done such a good job with Locked In. I don't know if anyone's watched it. That entire concept, sick. He doesn't break lines with passing on when he steps out. He loses the ball. Nah, I disagree, man. I still do feel like Upamecano breaks lines. But he's very brave. Like, he's a proactive defender. He's not good at headers, and Konate gets injured too much. Yeah, Konate, that's one problem as well. He's injured. Big Six on Fox News as well, you know. Yeah, I saw that. I haven't watched the full video, but that's sick. It's actually good to see how Big Six are going. Like, I genuinely do think Big Six, like, their growth could be so high. Like, we're talking, like, Hardy was talking to me, like, Big Six should be on TV or something. Like, you know how Don Roby had a show on, what was it, Channel 4 or 5 a couple of years ago? That could be Big Six. Like a TV company, Sky, someone. Like, you know how Sky has sort of Saturday Social? Just give Big Six a slot, yeah. And that was it kind of thing, innit? Like, they're clear. Their personalities and stuff, crazy. Like, the chemistry as a six is so good, innit? So good. But I want to see how Big Six progress in it. Because I don't, the funny thing about Big Six, yeah, funny, I don't think they can have a studio show in it. Because what I swear, Hugh's from Ireland, Sai's from Manchester, Turkish from London. Like, linking up twice a week will be quite hard, innit? But the way they're going right now, listen, man, the sky is the ceiling for them. The sky is the ceiling. The first season was the best. Griezmann was between the lines. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Griezmann was good today. Very, very good. Saliba is that. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I still think Saliba has a high ceiling. Like, I've always said, Saliba, I look kind of think he can play for Real Madrid. But I just think right now, for the French setup, I think Upamecano and Konate is a good pairing. Yeah, like I was having this debate with Harsh today. I don't know if a studio show will hit the same. But like a TV company kind of has to hit them up at this stage. Like the number, I swear they do like 8K people live. You know how crazy that is? Like there's certain shows with over 10K people live. The total views once the video like finishes above like 60, 70, 80, 90, 100K. Crazy. What kind of right back and striker do you want? I want Malo Gusto. I've always said that a right back striker. I want a gunman, Vlahovic. How many goals do you think Ronnie will score at this World Cup? See, obviously it depends on how far Portugal get in it, but I think his aim has to be between 5 to 6. He has to, if you want a Champions League club. And especially at the rate penalties are getting given. Like, I think it could be 5 to 6 goals, and then 2 of them will be penalties. Do you like Noah Lang? Yeah. Like, ability-wise, I like Noah Lang in it, but clearly his attitude kind of stinks. Yeah, I saw the links with Real. I saw that. I was jealous. I was very, very jealous. But he needs that step up. He's literally one of the best fullbacks, up-and-coming fullbacks in the world. Like, when we talk about Gusto, I'm trying to think. He's probably the best right back or young right back outside like the likes of Trent, Reece James that I can think of. Like, I might be wrong here. You get 5 to 6 Cristiano, Madrid also anyway. Yeah, can't lie. Have to respect it though. Like, Real Madrid. For me, the biggest club in the world. Ten Hag don't like him. Yeah, Ten Hag didn't like him, yeah. Big Six is great, but Turkey just sits back and watches the debate. But I think that's Turkish's role in that, in the six, isn't it? Like, Turkish is meant to be, he's the presenter. He kind of just sits back, has his say here and there. But I think that's just Turkish, isn't it? Like, you still need someone hosting a show. Like, I don't think Big Six work, say, let's just say if they are Troops, for example. And I like Troops, but Troops will obviously back Arsenal, argument, a lot more debate. I don't think the chemistry and the way the show runs will be the same. Like, I genuinely do think Turkish is a very, very good host. But then you lose the Arsenal point of view at times. Which, like, we've seen it when Babs was on Big Six a couple times. You probably get a bit more of that kind of thing, innit? Yeah, this is a possibility to have another guy hosting, yeah. But then, like, listen, like, if you're Turkish, how many more views are you really going to get if another guy hosts? I don't think it will be much different. So why do you want to, like, pay someone out more and lose a bit more share kind of thing, innit? Like, Big Six must make bread, you know, when you think about it. Dialogue disrespect. No, it's not dialogue disrespect in him. I just think Gusto has a high ceiling. His ceiling is so high. If he goes to Madrid, no doubt he's going to be one of the best. 100%. 100%. Hey, you know what I was looking at the other day? Yeah, this is mad. Probably shouldn't even be saying this. But you see Mark Goldbridge here? Hey, Mark Goldbridge makes money for days, you know. Mark Goldbridge, like, I saw, what was it? He done a watch along for Wales the other day. I think it was in it. Fam, we have 17,000 people watching live. You know how crazy that is? Like, I did not know Mark Goldbridge did numbers like that. I was just like scrolling around YouTube. Yeah, he does numbers. His watch longs and like that's football, whatever it's called, do like 300, 400K. That is crazy. No. The thing is, I knew Mark was big in it, but I didn't know he was that big. Yeah, like 17,000 people watching live. I saw at one point. So he gets 30K on United. He must. He must. Those numbers are crazy, you know. I never knew that. And by the way, you see Mark Goldbridge's studio. Oh my God, is it clean? That studio, so nice. So nice. Like, yeah, you have to respect it, kind of thing, innit? Saeed is way too funny. He doesn't even try. Yeah, Saeed's hilarious. And Saeed's probably one of the nicest people in the YouTube scene. Yeah, listen, Zayn Yassi is rich as well. I don't even know who Zayn Yassi does, what he does, kind of thing, to be making that amount of money. I prefer Frimpong from his. Yeah. Been at Bayer Leverkusen as well, done well. I think he's been linked to Real Madrid in the past as well. 800K subs on his main channel, yeah. And what United stands, I think the biggest fan channel now. I think it's overtaken AFTV. I'm pretty sure. Crazy. Upamecano is the only non-goalkeeper in the top. Raw, fair play. That is sick. Let him go. He's not bigger than the club. We'll do it without. Guessing you're talking about Ronaldo. Yeah, I agree. We have to let him go. Goldbridge is got his last shows to fly. I'll be honest here. You see with Goldbridge, like, there used to be a point before I started YouTube where I used to watch United Stand kind of thing, innit? But then obviously, like, when I started doing content, I started watching less shows. So I don't really know much about United Stand now kind of thing, innit? But they do have nice people. Like Adam, for example, I had a show on Saeed's channel with him. Very, very nice guy. Beth seems decent. I think that Jordan guy, I think he's Welsh. Don't know much about him. Levin was on the United Stand a couple months ago. Levin's probably one of the people I chat to on a daily basis kind of thing right now. Well, listen, fair play, man. Like, they're fully killing it. Fully killing it. But I can't lie, I feel like all the YouTubers doing well right now. Like Goldbridge killing it, even like Flex on United View. Their studio is nice. Flex is in Qatar. Fair play. Yeah, they got Charlie as well. I forgot about him. He was on. I used to watch a lot of his football videos. Don't know much about his football takes, but I used to watch a lot of his football videos back in the day. Fair play. I never knew he was like a big United fan like that, personally. Bains, would you prefer a ball carrier and a striker or a recall laid for backup or a new right back and a striker? Ball carrier and a striker. I'll be honest, we need a striker in terms of I can't trust Martial. And I don't think I can trust Eriksen for this entire season. In terms of, I know, for example, there's certain games, even this season, where I'm looking at him and I'm like, you're kind of slacking off. I know this ain't the same Eriksen standards that he's shown in glimpses. And even Eriksen, in terms of coming off the bench, that's been like, what was it, the Europa League? Or was it Aston Villa? That was one of his best games. Well, who do you want to replace? De Gea? Probably Costa right now. I like Raya as well. Best part of United Stand is never stop talking about Glazer, which shows you do not compromise in the views no matter how big they get. Is it? Fair play. Because I know a lot of big channels, they wouldn't really talk about that. They wouldn't really talk about it. Which is why, like, listen, man, like United Stand, you have to respect it. Like, I know a lot of people don't like Goldbridge, but listen, man, the numbers speak for themselves, kind of thing, innit? The numbers speak for themselves. No Rashford at 9. I'll be honest, I like Rashford on the left. Cam's doing this thing with Rio. Yeah, I'll be honest, I think Coach Cam's one of the most talented people in the YouTube space. That's just my opinion, isn't it? Even now on what's that thing called? FTBO? I think that's the company. Sick. Liaz as well. Shout out Liaz. Liaz is sick with it as well. Like, they have very, very good chemistry. Especially stoppage time as well as a whole. Like Fuad, Mayo, crazy. Like those, look, FTBO were clever getting them on board. Very, very clever. You know another thing, by the way. Remember when people say Arsenal used to lose because of AFTV? AFTV are still doing their thing when Arsenal win it. That's one thing I never got, kind of thing, innit? That's one thing I never understood why people are saying, oh, AFTV are the reason Arsenal are losing. Ericsson's looking like, yeah, he has a couple times. He has a couple games. But listen, it was always going to happen, kind of thing, innit? It was always going to happen. Now it's frustrating that he's playing another 3 games for Denmark minimum. And I think he'll go through in the group stage as well. Bains link with Flex and KG. I'll be honest, I don't know KG, like, in terms of, what do you call it? Like, as a person, kind of thing. I know Flex. But I'll be honest here, like, you see me, I find it bare awkward asking people, you know. So I don't think I ever would. Do you watch Vibe with 5? I'll be honest here, you see Vibe with 5. I used to have like a bad image of Vibe with 5, innit? It's actually very good. Like, I know a lot of people don't like Rio, for example, or Stephen Howson. See Joel's phenomenal for that channel. Because Joel, yeah, he's like the perfect guy in terms of he will ask the questions that, for example, people on Twitter are thinking, if that makes sense. Like, well, you know how everyone used to be like, oh, Rio only backs Ronaldo because he's his mate. I saw Joel Bayer asking that question to Rio. What's your response to that? That's why I have mad respect for the Vibe with 5. Like, as much as like you can say Rio has his biases, the fact that he still has people on his channel that still challenge him, I can't hate it, kind of thing, innit? Like, you might not agree with the opinions, but as long as they get challenged, fair play, I like it. AFTV are fair, to be fair. You know what it is? I don't think AFTV are falling off, innit? Actually, you know what? Let me word this differently. AFTV don't get the same numbers. Because let's be honest, AFTV blew because of their rants after, for example, the buying game with DET and Troops, in it. And everyone, for example, used to watch it. Like, I'll be honest, I used to watch AFTV when Arsenal lost, innit? I don't watch AFTV now. Their content right now is probably a bit more professional in terms of production, all of that stuff. But Arsenal doing well. Like, less rival fans are going to watch it. Their numbers are going to fall. And I think that's how YouTube content is. Like, as much as I hate to say it, I feel like, for example, the worse your club does, the better your numbers are going to be. That's just my opinion, kind of thing, isn't it? I don't know if the data proves it, kind of thing, but that's how I feel. But then, listen, like, it's frustrating, innit? It's frustrating. Listen, I'd rather United do well than my channel do what it does well, kind of thing, innit? I get more satisfaction debating with my friends saying United are good and laughing at their teams for being crap. That link needs to happen. Listen, man, it's all up to the people, kind of thing, innit? Why are you not with Ransom anymore? Long story, man. Long story. But I'll be honest, like, you could kind of tell at the end we were never gonna do that. Like, how do I word this? We were gonna stop doing shows, kind of thing, innit? Big up Bains, big up K Dawson. Bains are a perfect fit with Flex and KG. I'm telling you, it needs to happen. To be honest, I get along with a lot of the United few people. Faz, lovely guy. Marcel, lovely guy. Who else is on here? Cam, spoke to him a couple times. Good guy. James, when he was there. Good Ronaldo likes Rio and Rio likes him back. No, don't get me. I know this Rio backs him because Ronaldo likes him, innit? But the fact that he got challenged on this, I like it. They lost their big Bains was good fan. Big up Rondo. I hope you're good. They lost their big personalities and everyone has the same opinion now. See, I don't know, innit? I don't know about the same opinion thing, but I do agree about the big personality thing. But I feel like those personalities were big because Arsenal were losing. Like, let's not lie here. Are you really going to watch, let's say, do people really watch Troops when, for example, like, when I say this, yeah, I don't mean as an Arsenal fan. Like, as a United fan, am I really going to watch Troops when Arsenal win? The answer is no. But as soon as Arsenal lose, I'm watching them. I'm watching Troops. Like, the big personality thing, listen, man, I hear it though. And I also do think like AFTV in a way has been like more, I don't know, I feel like it's quite like not mainstream, but like, I don't know, man, like, it's changed kind of in the way I looked at them in the past. They were more unfiltered. That's what I felt like. But listen, you kind of have to be less unfiltered in 2022 kind of thing, innit? Yeah, make sure you guys like the video as well. AFTV, we got no characters on this high left. Maybe. Very few people can do what you do and that speak on the game without a gimmick. Yeah, I'll be honest, like I've always said it, other than the Ronaldo stuff, I don't really care what player does well, or what player does bad kind of thing, innit? Like I just want United to win. Can you collab with Goldbridge? I'll be honest, Goldbridge probably don't even know who I am. You just fell out over the CR7 stuff. Nah, it wasn't because of this. Who does DS Sport? Do you know? Yeah, eSports United. DS Sports United. Cam's is very well spoken, man. I do respect his opinion. Will be good to see you link up with Coach Cams. If you meet Coach Cams, like, listen, like, it's probably difficult to happen because he's on FTBO, innit? But as I've already said, like, I would love to do a show with Coach Cams. I mean, I still watch groups sometimes. Fizz. Now, I'm speaking for like my point of view kind of thing, innit? I feel like I watch them less when Arsenal do well. No Claude, Troops, GT, more. The game's the game, innit? You know what? Another thing I hate, yeah. I don't mean to dig out anyone here, but like, you know, when in terms of like YouTube beef, like, you know, when DT came back, just let the guy be kind of thing, innit? Like, DT was wrong with what he done, but I don't just let the guy do what he wants to do, kind of, innit? Like, you know, when people make videos on YouTubers coming back, I've seen bare channels do it, kind of thing, innit? I'm just like, you don't know you're looking for drama and you're looking for views, kind of thing, innit? Bains, Glazers, these came out. You think we signed anyone in Jan? Yeah. I still feel like we get Cody Gakpo. I've always said we get Cody Gakpo in January. But that's pretty much it when it comes to January. Like, it won't be much. And I think with Gakpo, it also depends on the price. It also depends on the price. Like, it won't. If it's over £50 million, we're not getting it. Big up everyone. Big up Zohabe. Probably butchered that name. What do you think about the Athletic reporting that Glazer only sold to US investors? I'll be honest, I disagree with it. Like, my personal opinion is whoever offers the most money will buy United. But as I said, like when it comes to this, it only sell to US investors. I think that will only be for like partial sales of the club. I don't think a full sale is necessarily just down to USA investors. It can't be. Like, it just literally makes no sense. We don't need Gakpo on the right back. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I would love 2 players in it, but I just think we get Cody Gakpo. I want us to mold Gakpo into a striker. I think that's what Ten Hag would do. And you even seen it for Holland. He's playing in more central areas. Gakpo looks like Rashford on form with better crossing. Yeah, that's one thing as well. Yeah, you see Cody Gakpo's set piece delivery, elite. Like, a lot of Cody Gakpo's, for example, chance creating numbers are massively in favour because of set pieces. Even when we're taking set pieces for Holland, what we need is an elite striker. Yeah, we need an elite striker, but I don't think that happens in January. We don't need worse ownership near that. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, I doubt it gets worse though. Jones at last, the Glazer. Yeah, that's gonna be true. Kenny Brand. I don't know if he scored a free. He might have, you know. He might have. At this, don't try it. Don't try. I read that in my head. Don't try it. What about Ethan Led? Is it too early to call him back? I think his contract finishes at the end of the season as well, you know. Funnily enough. So I don't know what United do with that. I don't know if Ten Hag has him in his plans. Bains, maybe Gakpo play on the left and Bain in Arizona. Continue molding Rashford as a striker. Yeah, that could happen, innit? But I just think Gakpo suits central areas a lot better than Rashford, from what I've seen. In terms of, for example, his upper body strength. Why are the Glazers looking to buy anyone in January when they're looking to sell? They will tell Ten Hag stick with Martial Rashford. No, but I think in terms of buying someone, I don't think, first of all, the player will cost a lot. For example, Cody Gakpo. Secondly, like, I don't think the sale of the club is going to happen straight away. I still think it will be 12 to 18 months or potentially, like, that's the period kind of thing that I think, in terms of full sale. Which is why, like, they're still going to be here for some bit. you see when we sign? How do we play with? I'll be honest, I don't think we signed De Jong now. Like for me, it was always that summer if we were gonna sign, like last summer if we're gonna sign De Jong, that's it. I think he's like, I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong here. I might be going mad. I feel like De Jong's earned his place back in the Barca starting 11. That's what I feel like has happened. Because I feel like he has played a lot for Barca when I seen him. I swear I checked the other day that I swear he started like, he's played 10 of the 13 games or something. I might be wrong. Catboy is a crazy crossing him though. Catboy is so meaty. Yeah, I hate the crossing thing, innit? But I look at, for example, Rashford, man. Rashford's best football comes on the left. His best football, his attributes should suit the left. If I'm being live for 1 hour, 40 minutes, man. I got coursework to do due tomorrow. Like, I am so finished, man. I am so finished. All right, let's wrap this up as well. For the striker spot, we should get Gakpo for 40 jar feet, 70 on Mbappe. All right, listen, of course it's going to be Mbappe kind of thing, isn't it? How many Dutch players do we see, though, looking for someone in the Bundesliga, Serie A, Liga? Yeah, that's what I said. Like, Kolo Muani from Frankfurt will be a nice buy. He's in the France squad as well for this World Cup. Argue the Vlahovic prop. Yeah, like, Vlahovic is always going to be the dream, but I just don't think United would do it. Still have faith in Sancho. People write him off too quick. Eric Ten Hag likes. Plays, don't lose possession. He hasn't played with a proper striker who can run. CR7 Ronaldo isn't really. Yeah, like the Sancho thing, I do feel like people are overdoing it now, kind of thing, innit? Like, I remember, I feel like I called that Sancho after the Brentford game, innit? And I feel like people got onto me. And then I feel like Sancho's, as soon as Garnacho started performing, people started hating Sancho too much, innit? And even at that point, I was just like, yo, people are doing too much. That's just my opinion. Van de Jong, Jude is better than only 19. To be honest, like you can think Bellingham is better, but De Jong suits the team more for what we need. Buy Ramsey from Villa. I'll be honest, I really, really like Jacob Ramsey. I really, really like him. Gakpo is safe when you didn't send a goal striker in small league. You nearly got me there. You nearly got me there. It's decent too. Don't try it. But listen, it is 12 o'clock in the UK. I've got an assignment to do. So I'm going to have to leave you guys. But before you guys leave, make sure you guys like the video, comment your thoughts on the Ronaldo Glazer situation, the World Cup, anything. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back. I'll be honest, I don't know when I'm going to be back. Content, World Cup, the games, crazy. Because the thing is, I think I'm doing watch-alongs for the Portugal games here. I feel like everyone's doing watch-alongs. Like, I swear to God, I was on YouTube the other day, and I see like 14 different channels doing watch-alongs. So I'm just like, there's no point. Like, I'd rather just watch the game in peace. Bains, what's your background? I am Punjabi. Big up Khalid. Bains, you at uni? Yeah, second year now. Second year. Sad times, man. Sad times. Looking long. Hey, the timings for the World Cup are crazy as well. Like, I'm running from the train station to my house just to watch games. You know how silly I look running on the road? Like, literally, like a little 5-10 minute run here I'm doing just because I want to be back for the World Cup. Were you that young? Yeah, 19. Yo, big up, brown brother. Big up. That's a nice shirt as well, counting at the back. But listen, big up everyone for watching. Make sure you guys like the video, comment your thoughts, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back soon. I hear this because of the beard. But big up.